Hey Brian, how are you doing today? Is everything okay?
There is something I want to ask you. It seems like the more reading I do, the more difficult it is to remember what I've read, let alone fully understand it.
I don't think it's you. In what way does it seem more difficult?
You know, I really used to enjoy reading. It always relaxed me. But now I seem to get frustrated and stressed.
Well, when you read for school, you are applying different skills than reading for entertainment. You have to be an active reader, especially when reading for school.
Wait, I have to read differently for school than when I read for myself. Reading is reading. I know the words, but I just don't always get what the author means.
I completely understand. I have some tips that can help you. When you read for school, you have to think like a teacher, and how will it be discussed in class?
Okay, think like a teacher. I don't get it.
Okay, for example, do you underline or highlight text when you read? Do you make notes about passages that jump out at you or really have an impact on you?
That would be, no. I should do that?
Yes, the method of active reading I know about is called SQ3R. It stands for survey, question, read, recite, review. The first stage, surveying, involves previewing the text.
Survey, question, read, recite, and review. These steps in the active reading method will help me learn?
Yes, surveying is learning about the text before actually reading it. Look over the reading material as it relates to the class you are taking. State your purpose for reading. Ask yourself the question, what is this reading about? Try to make predictions about the content. Read the title, and if there is a table of contents or introduction, read that. Look at the text from an historical, biographical, and cultural context. If you are reading a novel written in the 1800s from your 21st century perspective, you may not get the context. You may need to ask some questions or do research.
So, I need to consider a whole lot of information before I actually start reading? Is that why Mrs. Strahan gives us all that background information?
Exactly, she's trying to set up the context and fill in the gaps we might not be able to fill on our own.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. What do I do after surveying?
After you determine the context of the material you are reading, brainstorm questions to which you will expect to find answers in the text. Ask yourself questions such as, what questions are likely to be included on an exam about this material? Don't develop questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no.
Simple yes or no type questions won't work here?
Not effectively. After writing down your questions, you can then write down the answers.
Hey, you know this is starting to sound like an interview.
That's right, interviewing the text. Mrs. Strahan has included some specific questions to get you started.
These questions will really help me. I can start with these until I automatically ask myself the questions as I actively read a text.
The third step of active reading involves developing strategies to be used during reading and then actually reading the text. Here are some active reading tips. Set realistic goals for the amount of time and number of pages to read. Divide a chapter into small sections and apply the questioning and previewing information you have.
I can write the answers to my questions and check back to see if my predictions about the text were correct.
You can highlight or mark areas that challenged your attitudes, beliefs, or responses to current issues. Why don't you work on that and come back to the last two strategies?